Hello.
And welcome to Pardon the Interception, Season 34, Week 8, with your hosts, myself, Lee Wood.
Nick Taylor.
Simon Wood.
Let's take a look at what's going on in the leagues this week. Starting off as ever with the Gary Lyon Memorial League.
Simon's killed himself with laughter.
It's good when you laugh at your own jokes.
61. Could have been better. Black Knights could have scored more.
There were 8 nights. 8 nights? 8 points off of being
8 points off of perfection.
It's a lot of points in that Goat's Emperor's game. So 113, I think. That's a lot of points.
That is 113 by most people's maths.
Good. That's their maths.
Apart from that,
A lot of blowouts.
yeah, I think historically, having done this for a few seasons now in the GFL, I think week 8 and 9, you do see more blowouts because coaches either want to be playoff or bust, mostly.
The Dragons losing to the Pistols is quite big.
Yeah, that's one of the non-blowout games. That probably has big playoff implications, I would have thought.
The Pistols are just out of the running, whereas the Dragons were in the running. So, interesting.
Was the Stars Firebird match one that was important as well?
I was thinking the same.
Yes,
that might have been.
they're both in contention.
Yeah, and I think that gives the Stars a leg up. Anyway, shall we look at the standings? And then we can stop this dilly-dally guessing.
It's more fun guessing.
So the Raiders have now got that coveted C. Steelers are all but no, they're not mathematically locked. They still can actually lose out if they lose out and the Firebirds win out.
Yeah, the Rockets are locked, right? So the divisional record.
Yeah.
Rin
rates are locked.
Wolves and Pirates are
Didn't we say the Raids, I think, might still have the Hulk to play?
I think they
If
might.
they've still got the Hulk to play, they're locked. Oh no, they've got the Black Knights and the Gunslingers. That's actually
Got 2 hard games.
yeah, 2 hard games.
That's probably why we remembered it.
So I think we can safely say the Pirates and the Mules are likely making the playoffs. Just don't know which order.
Yep.
Because that's even tight on point differential as well.
Through that. And the last playoff slots between Dragons and Gunslingers. Maybe the Mustangs might be able to sneak in, but it's going to be unlikely.
It's going to be difficult because let's say the Gunslingers split the series and end up 7-3 and the Mustangs win out. The Gunslingers will get it just because they placed second.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got to think who have the Gunslingers got in the running. I know they've got the
Wind Waves.
They've got the Dragons and the Wraiths. So the Wraiths they're probably going to lose. Might win it, but unlikely. The Sicilian Dragons could potentially win out. So it's actually not
a big game this week.
Yeah. NFC. The Calgary Bulls are still in with us. I mean, the Stars Bulls, one of them still might get a wild card. It's not impossible.
The wild card is much more unpredictable on that side, I would say.
Yeah. I kind of want to give one to the Hawks, but even that's not a guaranteed thing.
I mean, like that side of things, what the Quake and Rockets are the only 2 teams playoff locked.
Box time.
And Simon goes deep into our budget by using the Telestrator.
Right, they're going to win. They're going to win a division. One of those 2 is going to win division and one's going to hit the wild card. Maybe let's just put the Quake through right.
Don't think
the Quake are in the playoffs.
I think the Quake definitely get a berth.
Yeah, it's whether they get the playoff or not. But
If
anyway,
a wild card or winners.
I don't think the Emperors can do it. That 2-2 divisional record's a bit of an ask.
so the Hawks play the Goats and then the Quake.
Okay.
So that,
So,
That's a tough.
the Goats aren't too tough, are they?
Look at those boxes on the screen.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they should beat the Goats.
I say like the Hawks and the Lightning. I say the Lightning are in the best position, but then the Emperors also. I know they've got a divisional thing going on, but their point differential is pretty good.
The points differential only matters inside the division, though.
mm,
Yeah, I mean, like, if we're saying 5-3 is the current wildcard record, they win out.
If they win out, yes. If they win out.
so that's a lot of teams that are fighting for that wild card. It's gonna be interesting next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd say, as I say, Lightning and Emperors. But it's interesting because the Lightning and Emperors have a better points differential, but the Bulls have the better divisional record.
It is quite possible that they end up on the same record as the wildcard teams with a better points differential, but lose out because they're a third place team.
Yeah.
Didn't they change the rules to make it so it was easier for a third place team to go through?
No, they changed the rules so it was possible for a third place team to go through. It was never possible before.
Oh, was it not? Okay, I knew they changed something. I couldn't remember. what.
Yeah, it always used to be the two best second place teams.
Okay.
Lots of interesting.
But yeah, if they're on the same record, a second place team will always go through above a third place team.
Yeah, I mean, I think any of those 5-3 teams that wins the last two games probably takes the spot. That's my feeling.
How much to it? It might be possible for multiple of them to do it. And that could get really tasty.
I'm going with the beard. I'm going to say that the Lightning are going to squeak it in.
The extra long beard.
Yes. Anything else for the GFL before we move on?
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, actually, I think exciting and GFL are not words we've often used.
And until Dave Russell goes and spoils it all in the playoffs.
He's no rivets.
He's not riveting.
Let's have a look around the Atlantic. So first things that jump out at me are always looking at how my fellow co-hosts did. Nick, you managed to pull out a win, and Simon, how did Old Basin do? You managed to beat the heroes on the road as well.
Quite fair. The best part of my game was guess how many sacks I got in my game?
69.
No, not quite.
10.
Yep, exactly 10.
Oh.
So it amused me. I'm not sure whether my pass rush is amazing.
It's about the average amount of sacks you get on a night out, isn't it?
Potato sack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you guys would be drawn to the Brockton Bay Bears losing by 1 point.
I was saving that as a nice little.
You see, the thing is, if me or Simon are the first people to mention it, we're rubbing salt in the wounds because you've mentioned it first, Nick. We now get to pile on Kendall without looking like the baddie.
The problem is it's quite bittersweet because he turned over the ball 7 times. I think he's turned it over 0 or something. So it's one of those where he just got really unlucky. I'd much rather he got absolutely dominated than
all the Outlaws' defense went hard.
I mean, Kendall's going to the playoffs with this team anyway, so. Should we have a look at what that's done to the old Standaroonies?
Why not?
So, Nick, you're losing your last 2 games to go 5-5. Am I correct?
I mean, I've got the Stingrays next. next game, so it could well be.
I reckon you got the Stingrays, Nick. Do me a favour.
I wrote the bird.
Well, I'll do my best. I need to win that game. So.
Yeah, because you're pushing for #1 seed. If you win out, you're more or less locked for it, aren't you?
And if the Stingrays lose, it gives me, I can take a loss as well.
Yeah. How are those wild cards looking? So I reckon the Stampede are good for a wild card. Geez, the Sharks theoretically can get a wild card in third place.
Mm.
I say theoretically because I'm assuming that Nick goes 5 and 5.
Whoa.
That's a given, Lee. Nick might get a lucky draw, Lee. And he's probably going to beat the Magpies in the last week. So.
Yeah. 6 and 4.
Well, I'll end up beating the Stingrays and losing to the Magpies. That's what will happen.
Yeah, 6 and 4 should give you a wild card. And Simon, I think you've either got first or second seed locked up. Who's your week 10 match?
Sharks, I think. Free River Sharks. Yeah, it is.
I think that locks us Stampede with having the Anacondas in the last game.
I do have the Generals this week.
Generals. Yeah, I was assuming you losing then winning.
Yeah, but do the Generals have much to play for? Are they going to put a full score?
That's a good question.
Already, they're probably not going to get first or second seed, even if they beat me.
Yeah, they might put out a weakened team, but I'm not sure if Steve would ever do that. I'm trying to remember.
But you never know, right? And if
I remember either Steve or Simon being on record as saying they'd never put out a weakened team, but I can't remember which one that was.
Steve or Simon?
Steve's brother is called Simon Hilton and used to also play in the Atlantic.
Yeah, I remember. No, you say.
They might just want to put out their best team as a bit of a test for the playoff, maybe.
It is possible. I mean, the thing is, I get resting. If you cannot improve your position, rest or experiment. I don't think it's a terrible thing. Putting out your rookies that have got all of their pops just to get rid of the first game jitters is not a terrible thing to do. If you cannot improve your playoff position, it's a very good thing to improve your team in longer term.
Does depend on your injury situation as well, right?
And that as well, yes. But I mean, if you've got the rookies that are max popped, there's no if they get injured, you no longer care, because the reason you don't want to play rookies earlier is in case they get injured, because it affects coaching so much.
Indeed.
And if we look at the other side, the Rapiers have made it. The Bears are locked.
Rapiers now.
Yeah.
That was for the #1 seed.
You just made me think something. Why is that where is there any game mechanics reason to have injured players not coaching very well?
Realism.
Yeah, fuck realism.
That's literally it. It's one of the tests. Is it real? Is it automatable? Is it fun? They're the 3 tests.
Yeah. Apart from the fact that injured players regularly go in the gym and actually bulk up and get stronger, therefore could get better. So you could argue there's a realism point for it being.
Historically in the NFL, in American football, injured players come back weaker than when they were injured.
Depends on the injury.
That season. Next season, different, but that season they tend to go backwards.
It should be a catch-up if they're out for the whole season. If they're off-season, they spend training to come back stronger.
Yeah, if they're on IR for the entire season, you should be able to adjust a QST.
That's realism for you, Lee. There you go.
Actually is.
To be fair,
you do occasionally get running backs who used to rely on speed, so a run flat, who would lose his speed through an injury, then bulk up to just be a run up the middle instead.
Or you get like wide receivers turn into cornerbacks.
Yeah, wide receivers turn into cornerbacks or safeties.
Just like
It happens.
come out.
Not
Oh,
massively
quarterback!
often, and it's probably a lot of effort to code it, but it would be fun. I think both the Spitfires and Outlaws are probably going to make it. Do they have to play each other?
I don't know.
Or have they already split the series?
Not sure.
The Outlaws beat the Spitfires. And they're not
They're
playing.
playing week 10. No.
No. It's got the Meerkats week 10, the Outlaws.
Who did the Outlaws lose to then?
The Redcoats.
Oh, okay.
But the Spitfires have the coach will not be named this week. So could be very
Mark Spencer.
No.
I was thinking the same.
He's the not applicable coach. Or the coach with no name. Rather than the coach that should not be named.
No, this is shaping up to be not too bad.
MFC is pretty close over.
Hmm.
Every top two teams in each division.
Yeah, there's 4 teams fighting for 2 playoff berths. So,
Yeah.
Anything else before we move on to the Riveting League? And I will stop making that joke when Conrad stops winning.
We'll stop making that joke when Conrad doesn't win the bowl.
81-14. Oh no. First score.
And that's not even a game involving the rivets.
That's more of a Hulk score, Lee.
No, it's not a Hulk score. There was 14 points scored.
Yeah, fair.
So the top teams at A1.
I will admit that I've completely forgotten what the standings were in the Big Sky, so I don't know which games to be focusing on for this one.
Lions are good, and the Rivets are good, and APAC are surfers. So
I think the massive winning had playoff implications.
massive, and they're in the same division as the Sharks. Hornets one, Maroons one.
I think we're
Eagles
just
one.
I think we're gonna have to jump into the standings and just take a look.
The Ram Sharks are massive.
Yeah,
Oh, the
Sharks
Rhinos
massive.
The Rhinos clinching on 5-3, is it?
Is the stuff that Nick's dreams are made of. 5
Yeah, they
and
can
5
They
the
rest
division.
up and hit 5-5. It's easy mode. they can't overtake Sharks and the Statesmen, so they might as well just chill out for 2 weeks. Go to the beach.
Yeah, you might as well go in as fourth seed, fifth seed, fourth seed. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like they're a game behind the Hornets as well. So yeah, just chill out, have a good time. I like the way the Phoenix at the moment are going to be 5th seed and 7-1. So.
We've lost one game, but we're only sitting in the wild card position.
We only conceded 58 points as well, which is like the best record in the league.
I mean, that's a team that has making the bowl from the wild card all over them if there was one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of 7-1 teams that are just like stuck behind 8-0 teams.
Simon, we can't afford to use the stars every week.
The problem is with the Big Sky, it's the most boring league in the world.
It is pretty locked.
That's your playoffs. Can we just not run the next 2 weeks?
I mean, you're not wrong. The only chance of this going wrong is if the Russians score a lot of points and the massive lose.
Ain't happening.
I'm just saying, I'm pointing out. I mean, I guess the Raptors is the other option, but they need to score even more points.
And then I'll do the playoffs for you, right? So this side ends up looking like this.
Where that was going.
And then this
I think
side,
the other side's a lot harder.
this side doesn't matter because the Reddit's going to win. Big Sky solved.
He's not wrong. I really want to coach in the Big Sky to prove us wrong, but
You won't be able to. It's not possible.
Their points
One can beat
differential is
Conrad.
absurd.
What we need is to petition Rich and Rich to airdrop Dave Russell in. Then we might have a chance.
what we need is the Conrad Whittingham rule to start increasing each year. So if you win your division 5 years in a row, you get -1 level, 6 years -2, 7 years -3.
No, if you win
until
the
he's
5 years in a row, you should get another -1.
Uber demotivation.
pretty much. Yeah.
You lose 100% at the start of the season.
So I want to see with how many negative levels across this entire team Conrad can continue to win.
Been an interesting test.
But we're not going to spend a lot of time on the Big Sky. I do apologise to the Big Sky coaches, but as you saw, the playoffs are pretty much locked at this point in time.
I mean, I think we said that last time as well. So
yeah, we're going to focus on the leagues that we actually get interaction from. On to the. I do apologise, Sam.
Stop apologising.
It's my job as host to apologise for everything.
It's not
Everything. On to the continental.
can we see whether Strom is now the league in Russia? That's all I care about.
I know that he apologised for not actually playing Strom.
That's,
I mean, he's
I
back.
think he's done it. He needed 100 yards, I think.
all-time rushing. Oh, the
Stats are
not
broken.
working anymore.
Yeah, if you go to the comments for last week, so it tells you that.
I was hoping that they might. Was it in the pre-game comment?
It was in the comments on our last.
Oh, on our last broadcast.
Indeed.
There we go.
About 100 yards away. So, in theory,
He might have made it. He might have made it.
It'll be a little treat when the stats service comes back.
I mean, 138 yards. I want to say he has. If not, I'm going to award it to him anyway.
And do enjoy the Arctic Badgers preview there, where it's the number 1 rushing offense and number 32 passing offense. Because why pass the ball?
I mean, if you're going to rush for 400 odd yards, you can get away with for passing for 9.
Yeah, I mean, their quarterback didn't even do enough to get a rating. So.
Yeah.
Only handing the ball off.
Yeah.
How well can you hand the ball off? Very well.
Yeah, Monarchs losing. That was surprising, I think. Anyway, bring up the old standings. Badgers 6-2. I would have expected them to clinch by now.
They are pretty much locked. I mean, point differential. I guess
Simon, do you want to break out your rubber stamp?
Oh, we're going to get some stamps, right?
I mean, this the RFC looks pretty
Stamper.
pretty locked. I mean, Bullets and Patriots are like.
Stamper. You want Bullets and Patriots? I'm not sure, it's a bit close.
Patriots maybe not.
One of those two, definitely.
Yeah, that's where it gets hard, right? Because, one of these two is going to get the division, and then the other one could.
If the Monarchs won this week as opposed to losing, we would be probably putting a stamp there.
Oh, yes. To be fair, the other side.
Do they have to put? Do they play each other in the last week of the season?
Good question. If they don't, that makes it.
If they do, that pretty much locks.
They do not.
The 6th.
Who do the Bullets have? The Bullets have Reavers, Renegades. So the Bullets had to play the Renegades. And the Reavers. So the
You'd
Bullets.
expect them to be the Reavers.
Do they play the Renegades week 9 or week 10?
Lee, come on. Behave. Week 10 is divisional week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means that the game against if the Renegades win their week 9 game, their week 10 game's irrelevant.
True. The Patriots have the Highlanders and the Machine. The Patriots
They should win one of
Highlanders
those at
game
least.
probably decides the second playoff slot.
I don't know, the Machine. They should beat the Machine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably one here, and there's probably one between these two.
Yeah.
There's something to talk about in the Continental. Something to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean the Thunder on the other side over.
Hmm.
Yeah. A couple of 4 and 14 very good.
You've got another team that's 7-1 and sitting in second.
And they've got the best defensive record in the league again. Oh, yeah. In fact, they might. Yeah, they have the best points differential in the league. No, they're just beaten up by the Bombers.
Can they overtake the Westies? They play each other. Yes. If they
Again,
win that, they get first.
a good thing.
How did it go? Have they played previously? Yeah. Oh, it's 15-13 their first game.
Was that Westies at home?
It was Westies at home, so.
So you would expect the Trojans to win at home then with a game that close.
Just going to check their injuries. They are completely fit, the Trojans.
I mean, Gary Lyon, if he can use some of his lack of point scoring in the GFL to help him score points here, then you would expect him to win.
He's got a few injuries though.
Anything else to talk about in the Continental before we move on?
I guess we've got Patriots, Highlanders to look at next week. 2 games for the week.
Thank you, Simon. I didn't have my annotate commands up.
Oh no, they're back.
Annotate, clear all. There we go. Then the Delta. Let's have a look at what we have here.
So disappointing.
Not click on the Hammer Sharks.
What do we have here? Just the Hammer Sharks. Right.
So
Yeah,
I'm still a rolling.
so are the Zeppelin. That's the main thing.
Yes.
Oh, Zeppelin. Patriots got another one. No?
Simon, stop drawing on my random text. That's
What?
49ers losing to the Venom. That was a type game for boobs.
Robert Barons. Speaking of close one.
The Venom 49ers game really didn't matter because neither of us are doing anything this season.
No, it didn't. It just intrigued me.
Yeah, my team sucks the big one.
Patriots only just limping past Strangefur was interesting. I mean, I struggled with Strangefur week 1. Strangefur seemed to be doing odd things.
He's still got a caretaker, right?
True.
So, they probably have a decent enough team, but he's probably, trying to set it up for the future, I guess.
And if I remember rightly, the standings look very similar to they did last week. That VFC East looks insane. Currently, all 3 of the playoff teams are coming from it.
Wait, no, I'll correct it for you.
Beast.
There you go. VFC Beast.
So Zeppelin 8-0, probably taking the number 1 seed. I mean, I love it.
Big fan. So
GFC North technically open.
Yeah, it depends on matchups in week 10, I imagine, for that one.
Simon, who are you playing week 10?
Who am I playing week 10? Good question.
Yeah.
No idea. Cyclones.
Okay, so you can spoil the Cyclones, and then the Hornets can beat the Metros to
I
take that division.
could, but I'm playing the Cougars this week, whereas the Cyclones are playing the Plate.
But the Cougars only knock you out in the playoffs, Simon.
Yeah, but the Cougars are going to beat me, and then the Cyclones are going to win, which means I can't spoil their party.
Okay.
Unless the Hornets, well, they're playing the Robber Barons.
They could beat the
So,
Barons.
They could, but you know.
I'm not saying they're going to, but they could, because I mean, who likes a 15, 37, 24 quarterback?
The moral of the story here is the GFC North is like Nick's division in the Atlantic. It's a pile of poop.
Well, you take that back.
No, it's a pile of poop.
I raise your pile of poop and give you the VFC South.
Difference is we just beat on each other.
There's one good team at least in VFC South.
I have a running back.
And yeah, there's a couple of great coaches. Both, you know, Owen and Deb, great coaches.
VFC North is interesting.
VFC North is interesting. I think the Patriots are. I would have picked the Fury a few weeks ago, but I think the Patriots are going to steal it.
Fury have kept winning since was it 4 starts of the season?
Yeah.
Fury will win out. And like the Sunblazers are playing the Katanas. And then the Patriots.
Yeah, if Forsberg win out, they end up 5-5. If Holly loses out, they end up 6-4.
Yeah, it's interesting. I can't see the Patriots losing. They're going to go 8-2 as far as I can see.
5-5, 7-3. Jesus, I can't do
I think
that.
you see Patriots at the 8-2, and you'll also probably see the Fury at 7-3.
Yeah,
I should get out my. To be fair, this one I can actually just be a bit more liberal with.
I mean, like the bottom half of the VFC sword is the top 2 divisions, but it's going to sort everything else out.
I'm going to guess at that. Worley could sneak in, as could the Hammer Sharks, but there you go. One of these could sneak in as well, but you know.
I think the key to the VFC East. Who are the Colts and Centurions playing this week?
Well, I think the big one for that division was the last week because 2 of them have to play each other.
Colts play the Rogues, Centurions play the Metropolitans.
So the Colts and Centurions both win.
As do the Copperheads.
The Flopperheads have the hardest match of the 3 of them.
Kendall Hole in one is going to win. I hope you know.
But I think the big thing comes down to the last week, right? 2 of them have to play each other, so one of them's going to lose.
Sure.
And I think if one of them loses one of their last 2 games, there's a big chance that one of the VFC North teams equals it points together, and therefore sweeps it.
The thing is, if I somehow manage to beat Kendall, which I'm not sure my pass defense can do, but we'll see. If I manage to do that, then that puts them a game behind. So does that? So it means that if the Sunblazers win out, if the Sunblazers or the Fury win out, they can actually probably take that wild card off of the VFC Beast.
So that's what I was saying. If the 2 of them have to play each other, so one of them has to lose.
Yeah.
And then 7-3 versus 7-3. One of them second and third, right?
So it's quite possible that we only send 2 teams from the VFC Beast to the playoffs.
It's possible.
3, which it should be. It should be 3 teams from that division go through.
Exactly.
Which 2 play each other in the next week?
Colts Centurions, I want to say. No, Colts Copheads.
Kendall's got the toughest running.
I mean, even if Kendall loses to me and then beats the Centurions, it will put him second.
Colts. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. It's.
I mean, Kendall can afford to lose this week. Well, he wants to last week. He's still in his hand at that point.
The interesting thing with that is Kendall has one of his tackles out and an injury to his left tackle. So
Yeah.
I might be able to actually pass rush him. We'll see.
We can do some other annotation on this, weirdly. Oh, well, that's terrible.
What are you trying to do?
Trying to draw a nice C here.
Okay.
Because the Centurions are the champion of that division.
Any
Even
particular
slightly.
reason?
They
Well,
play.
they're 8 and 2, right? They've got
They-
Enlightenment and Metropolitans.
They play Metropolitans followed by Enlightenments. The rate,
Yeah.
and the Copheads Colts got to play each other, which puts a loss on one of them.
Oh, Copperhead's Colts. Sorry, I thought it was Copperhead's
Copperhead's Colts.
Centurions. Okay.
Which then means the Centurions are going through, and then the Copheads and Colts are fighting for the play. And fair, they'll probably, if Kendall beats you, they're both going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
If Kendall doesn't beat you and then loses to the Colts, that opens the door for Gareth or Phil to sneak in.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
But yeah, York is a lock.
I was trying to work out at some point whether I could just put out a weakened team to give Kendall a win this week, and then decided against it.
Hey, what? Behave.
I thought
It's
about
not
it.
having
Yeah, why? That thought shouldn't even enter your brain. You've
Well, I
been
mean,
because I
these teams might as well go on the beach right now. They're not going to overtake the Kasanas. So
honestly, I actually considered resting the last 2 weeks and just taking the second seed.
Kasanas could potentially lose this week, right?
who are they playing? Sunblazers, Mariners. Yeah, it's theoretically possible, right?
This week is the week where they could lose.
Thing is, so you don't want to let him rest players, right? So you got to kind of keep the pressure on.
Exactly. Oh yeah, agreed. I mean, I'm hoping that someone else. I mean, I'm hoping that all of the good teams in the VFC knock each other out or injure themselves silly, and I just get to coast through against beat up teams.
A bit like your division.
Pretty much, yep. I mean, pretty much my entire schedule, to be honest.
You had any tests?
No.
This week.
Miners, Metropolitan. Fair.
Hammer Giants, maybe.
You did a number on the Patriots.
Yeah, I've played them a bunch of times before. I think
Ipswich looked quite good, and you made them look not good.
my defense lined up very well against the Patriots. I would say
And you
it
scraped
flattered my
past-
defense a lot.
Okay, and you scrape past the hammer shots, so yeah, it probably does show that your team's not as good as the record suggests.
Oh, it's not by a country mile, and I make no. I don't hide that.
Yeah, you're gonna get found
Can
out
you-
this week.
When your
I can
team has
only-
twice as many wins as the rest of the division combined.
I can only play the teams that the schedule gives them. It's not like I've chosen the schedule. This isn't college where I can just sandbag a 10-0 by choosing the weakest games ever.
So I think you just got lucky because you did okay last season, which usually means you should have a harder schedule, right?
Yeah, I think I'm basing
Everyone in my division's rebuilding at the same time except for me.
I don't give you
So
four,
basically, you start off with 5 wins.
but then you have to get the other 5 wins.
Yeah.
You know. And
I mean, Leeds schedule doesn't play him against, Katanas or. I mean, he's got the Copperheads this week, but
But yeah.
you're going to have one tough game out of that division, one tough game out of the PFC North, and then it depends if you play the Katanas, isn't it, right? I think.
Anything else before we move on to the Empire?
best league in the world. Hitting the clear button, it won't work.
It's cleared on mine.
Okay.
Kings back to winning ways.
On the hooks.
Rarotonga Rogues. They won. Rough Riders
The Russians.
lost though.
Thunder and Herd won.
High
No
Hunters
word.
won. We like this. Red Bulls won.
The Spectre team.
Are you going to change into the Amethyst Ukrainian annexes or something?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Anyway, let's look at the old Standaroonies.
County lost. Ooh.
Bill Bushy 8-0. District 12 8-0. Also won. So
BFC is looking like
the High Hunters are looking like they could make a playoff spot, which I think at one point we were looking like they might not make the playoffs earlier in the season.
Yeah, lost a couple of early games. Jaguars. That bounty loss was pretty big. They won that game there.
It's possible we see a 5-5 wild card in the PFC.
I mean, the Patriots have locked the playoffs, just not for the
Yeah, Patriots are locked for a playoff berth, so we can put an arrow in there.
True.
Maybe not. Yeah, they have to go a long way to not be.
Probably looking something like that.
Claymores or Russians. Right? Yeah,
Apologies to anyone I'm knocking out.
I guess the Tomahawks and Griffins.
You've got to go bigger, Simon. You apologise to an entire league for saying the league is boring and they don't need to run games for the next 5 weeks.
Fair. I've got 5 years or 5 seasons of history. You know, if no one's going to beat Conrad, I'm going to get upset.
I mean, the big question in this league is: do you reckon the gamblers are going to take the first win incentive away from the Thundering Lord?
Good question.
Ken Dean, it's the sort of thing that he would do, being a Spurs fan. He's not used to winning, though, being a Spurs fan.
Hey.
Well, I'm not going to play it.
I mean, I don't even follow football, so. I
mean, the PFC is pretty much Hurricane and all the points differential.
Who have the Rogues got week 10?
Rogues. Which one?
Tonga.
Wawa Tonga. Who they got? Kings.
That's not the answer you were looking for.
No.
I've got Chaos followed by Kings. So that means.
What about the Rough Rangers?
Rough Rangers.
R cubed. I think they've played the Storm twice already. They've still got to play the Storm.
Yep.
Look.
So the Hornets looking reasonable though. So what's the Jet schedule like?
The Hornets, Sharks, Gamblers. Okay, so we can probably put them there. Jets. The Jets got Hurricanes, Knights. Okay, so that's doable.
They've all got toughish finishes. It's only tough for their records.
It's going to come down to points differential, right? There's going to be 2 6-4s, maybe 3 6-4s.
Well, the Jets have to play the Hurricanes, so
yeah, and then the Hurricanes.
That's pretty big this week.
If the Jets beat the Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes then beat the Texans, but them on 6-4, Rarotonga Rogues can be 6-4 because they've got Kings and then someone Gamblers or something. Can't remember what it was. So it could be 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. And even one of these.
I need to get an expert opinion in. Let's see if he actually shows up.
Sam Allardyce?
Small Sam.
I would like you to pronounce his name correctly. Respect his
Aladici.
Little Sam.
Little Sam.
Yes, there's quite a lot to play for.
Do you have a little Tony Pulis as well?
No, I was gifted that by the turtle like 10 years ago, and it's sat on top of my monitor since.
You need a little Tony Pulis.
I will see if I can get a Pro Star Tony Pulis as well.
Oh, no, to be fair, there's one that's even better. What you want is an Ian Holloway.
And also a Jurgen Norbert Klopp.
No, just an Ian Holloway. Best manager in the history of football.
Neil Warnock.
No, it's just not as. The interview's just not as good. Ian Holloway is a god when it comes to the football interview.
He is. I have watched a lot of his interviews. What are they called? They're called microstars, I think. We're descended into Lee Google's things.
We successfully distracted Lee. We've worn him down, Nick.
Yeah. So it is an interesting end to the season as ever with this as well.
We've got a Jets Hurricanes game this week. That's probably make or break. Well, we'll make or break the Jets season.
The Empire, it's the best league.
It is, yeah.
We keep saying it.
There's even a race between the Kings and the Storm for the number 1 seed as well.
Exactly.
Sharks can go to the beach. Although Sharks on beaches probably doesn't work out too well for them. They should go a bit further, go to the sea. Still got the Lions Russians race as well. I like that.
If you want to, Simon, I have found Ian Holloway's manager, so you can book him for a corporate speaking gig.
Oh, that's no. If I ever get asked to do a corporate, to be fair. Just looking, found this.
What's that all about?
Bye High Hunters.
Who were they playing?
They're playing the Patriots, followed by the Red Bulls. So the Red Bulls,
Easy.
Patriots.
Red Bulls might rest up. You never know.
True. But the Claymores are going to win both games. So it's going to really, they'll have to win. Right.
Well, the Russians, I want to say the Russians play the Lions still as well.
Who are the Russians playing?
Yeah, but the High Hunters, if they lose their divisional game.
The Russians are Jaguars, Lions.
Yeah, that's tough as well.
This league is tough.
So then the Tomahawks and the Griffins are back in the
Maybe.
picture.
I might have,
Things will be clearer next week.
Yeah, but Jez is going down. You're going down, Jez.
Things will be really clear in 2 weeks' time.
Get Pat back.
Yeah, when Pat's not there, you're going down.
Anything else before we move on to wrap up?
How about GFL Fire?
Coming soon.
Rich not told you, though?
Nope, I don't have the inside scoop, unlike you. Anything before we get to a close?
No.
Okay, in which case it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.